Hey guys, so today I want to create a new video series on a really great book that I'm currently reading called Money Master the Game by Tony Robbin. Amazing book. I've just started reading this book. I've went through the first chapter and it's a very long book. It's about 600 pages. And the problem is that I don't want to go through all the book and then give you some like a brief summary of some steps you can take, because it is very detailed, and for you to really get the gist of it, for this book to really help you, you really have to go through it chapter by chapter, extracting the most important aspects, actionable steps, things you can apply today in order to improve your finance, improve your personal finance, and reach your financial freedom quicker than you ever thought you could. So this book is going to be great help for me and for you, as I'm sharing that knowledge that I'm reading from this book every day. Today I've read through the first chapter, and it's going to be my first video. So every day I'm going to read through one chapter. Each chapter is about 30 pages, 30 to 40 pages. I'm going to read through every chapter and take the actionable steps and present it to you in a video so you can apply them today. So from what I've read today is first I've read the foreword, the introduction, and then the first chapter. Basically, a lot of it is not talking about the strategies, obviously. A lot of it is just introduction to investments, investing and money. And what is money, definition of money, why it's important to reach financial freedom, and how reaching financial freedom gives you, more free time to pursue the things that you are passionate about in life, the things that you truly have a passion for. And he just goes and covers over basically how he helped many celebrities, many people to transform their lives and improve their lives to become better versions of themselves. He talks about how he helped Bill Clinton, tennis players like Serena Williams, so on and so forth. Tony Robbin is an amazing guy. He provides so much value to the world. It's just amazing. In this book, basically what he did is that he interviewed one of the, some of the highest, the best minds of the best investors in the whole world. People who are making, who are worth billions of dollars, and he brought their knowledge to the masses, to the vast public, to me and you, anyone else who's really interested in personal finance. And he took that knowledge that is worth billions, that is worth many connections, that is worth a lot of money if you want to get access to these people, and he just basically wrote it in his book for you on a silver platter for you to read and apply and start making money. So it's an amazing book. First, okay, I don't want to go off a tangent. I want to go through some points that I've written on my board here. I'm going to go through these points quite quickly because it's just the first section, it's just an introduction. So just give you a gist of what's going to be included in the book and what it's going to talk about, right? So section 1 is called Welcome to the Jungle. The journey begins with the first step, right? So in this section, basically, the first section, he talks about how you can invest, start investing, start taking personal finance more seriously, and start making money. Start making money work hard for you instead of the other way around. Most people work hard for the money. Most people go 9 to 5, they work hard for their money, they get it and they spend it, right? In his book, in his chapter talks, you don't have to do this. You can actually make money work for you. It's not going to work 9 to 5, your money's going to work 24 hours work for you. You're going to sleep, and while you sleep, you're going to be making money. Your account is soaring up with more money while you're sleeping. You're not doing anything. Your money is working for you. That's the whole point of this book, is to actually be, transform and shift from a disempowered state of you trying to chase money, trying to work harder to get more money, and be in a more empowered state where money's actually working for you, and you're just basically sitting down, collecting paychecks, collecting money every month. Obviously, it's not that easy. It's not going to come very fast. It's actually a quite long process. But if you commit to it, if you're self-disciplined and commit to it, you'll accumulate wealth, and in a few years, not a few years time, in whenever you reach retirement, you'll have more than enough money you'll have more than enough money to spend for the rest of your life, right? So, anyways, basically he says you have to make the shift. This is really important. I've just basically wrote some really amazing quotes that really caught my attention, and I found them very rich in meaning. So the first one goes, you have to make a shift from being a consumer in the economy to becoming an owner, right? And you do it by becoming an investor. I'm going to repeat again. Note it down. This is really important. You have to make a shift from being a consumer in the economy to becoming an owner. And you have and you do it by becoming an investor. That's basically what I was talking about. Become an investor. You become, instead of consuming products, consuming things, and working hard for your money, and then spending it on some stuff, some things you want to buy. Instead of that, become an owner. He talks about instead of buying a Kindle from Amazon, buy a stock in Amazon. There's a difference. When you invest in a stock, it's going to make more money from you in the future. Kindle is just a liability. You're going to buy it, and then it's going to depreciate in assets. So that's the sort of mentality that it comes from. Being a consumer, buying a product, being an owner, buying a stock, right? He talks also about, this is an important thing, this is just like a really thing that caught my attention, and I've heard this actually previously from a colleague of mine, and he talks about it, and it's high frequency trading, and that's basically how nowadays there's some, I'm not really sure about it, but there's some really advanced financial companies, financial institutions that have super fast computers that are basically, they process everything to the milliseconds. They basically cheat the system, cheat the stock market, and because of the very fast processing computers, they're able to make money of the people who are normal people who are using a normal computer, let's say an average computer that is not as fast as theirs. And these computers, they process transactions at a 1 in a 500 of a millisecond or something like this, and it's like that split of a second is what gives them a competitive advantage of actually making guaranteed profit while you lose all your money investing in stocks. Because what happens basically in high frequency trading is that in the time that you are buying a stock in Apple, what they're doing is that they know you're going to buy a stock, so they know ahead of time, and what they do is they buy the stock and sell it to you. Right? So while it takes you a second to buy that stock, they're doing it in a 100th of a millisecond, and they buy the stock on Apple and they sell it to you, and they make that small profit margin. But that accumulates obviously over time, and makes them billions of dollars. And now that's how they make a ton of money, shitloads of money, and they use the high frequency trading, which is basically a cheat. They're basically cheating the system. They're guaranteeing their money in the stock market. It's like playing a rigged game of poker where you're going to win all the time and your opponent's going to lose. Your opponent's being you, and you being basically the financial institutions, the really high-tech, end of the game financial institutions. Right, so another thing, it talks about success leaves clues. So the main thing he emphasizes in his book, and most importantly that I really like to talk about, is that he basically, in the first section, he says what he did to gather all the information he wrote in this book. And what he did basically is he interviewed 50 of the most wealthiest people in the whole world. These are the best hedge fund managers. These guys are just like, they're like the best of the best. He calls them the 0.001% of investors. And these guys, they're like the billionaires of the world. And they're like, they're on the top of the game in investment. They're like the best in investment. Like if you, he talks about Ray Dalio, which is a person he really focuses on, emphasizes in his book, and he talks about Ray Dalio and how basically he's basically the owner of I think he owns the #1 hedge fund in the whole world. He manages the biggest hedge fund in the whole world, and I think it totals to about $160 billion in assets. It is just mind-boggling. And he talks about basically, he sat down with Ray Dalio, and he, through his techniques, Tony Robbin is a great self-coach. He knows how to crack everyone's code. He knows what ticks for everyone, and he was able to get Ray Dalio to tell him his secret, his diversified portfolio percentages of how he made his money throughout 30 years during the market recessions, during this and during that, and how he basically beat the market in 30 years, consistently beating the market every year. Basically, what he says is that Ray Dalio was able to, I think, profit 83% of the time throughout 30 years, beating the market 83% of the time, and I think losing at 3.2% of the time, which is just phenomenal. Basically, he made money every single year when the market was down, when it was up, when stocks were up, during the dot-com bubble, and through the hard and the rough and the rough times and the good times. And even the recession in 2008, he only lost 3.9% on his investments, while the average investor lost 50% on his investment. So it is just mind-boggling. This, Ray Dalio is just, he's kind of mastered the game of investment. He mastered, to just, not lose money in investing. He's always making money, always making profit. And what he did, he interviewed him. He got him to tell you the diversified portfolio percentages that he uses for his investors who invest at least $5 billion in his hedge fund in order to get their foot in the doorstep. And he's basically providing you that for free in his book. So basically, you can't access that free. The only way you can access that information other than Tony Robbins' book is that you have to, I think, give him like $100 million in deposit and invest $5 billion or something like this in order to gain that information and that knowledge. But then Tony Robbins was able to persuade him, and tell him to give that information for you. Right? So the point of investment is to know how to survive and thrive in any market condition, and that's exactly what I've just talked about. Is that these investors are so great. Their main concern is not to lose. That's their main concern. They don't want to lose money. It doesn't matter how much they win. Maybe they win a small percentage, but they don't want to lose, right? So it's always about, to know how to survive and thrive in any market condition. As I said, Ray Dalio, 30 years, he's always won, and that's just one in many. There's like many. He interviewed 50 of the most richest people in the world, best investors, best hedge fund managers, and so on and so forth. And basically, he extracted all these strategies of these managers and investors and put them all in the book for you to read and apply. And also he talks about, the book, every copy that you buy from this book actually feeds 50 homeless people, because all the money that he gets from this book actually goes into feeding homeless people. So, it's an amazing investment. If you're thinking of buying the book, it's an amazing investment, not only yourself, but also by buying the book, that you're contributing back to society, you're contributing back to society and helping people who don't have food on their table. I didn't know that when I bought the book, but I'm really happy that I bought the book, and I know, just buying the book, you make a difference. So make a difference in the world. It can be just by buying a book, you already make a difference. So Tony Robbins talks about reading books and how important reading books is, and I always emphasize reading books is like the holy grail of everything, because in books there's so many things. I mean, the thing with books is that someone has spent years of research, someone has spent years of knowledge, years of research, professors, top investors, top self-help coach, the best of the best, and they were everything, all their knowledge, what they learned, all the mistakes, everything they've done in their life, the good and the bad, and they've written all of it in a book for you to read, and basically for you to read and absorb. And just by reading that book, you're absorbing all that knowledge. They have spent 20 years, they went through 20 years, 30 years of trial and error, trying to perfect their formulas and perfect their lives and conditions and stuff. And you basically have picked up the book and you're reading their 20 years worth of experiences, trial and error, and you're absorbing all that 20 years experience in yourself, and you're basically investing. It's a massive investment in yourself, because basically you are gaining so much knowledge in such a short period of time. Just by reading this book, you're gaining like a year's worth of knowledge. Obviously you can't internalize all the concepts that you read, because reading about them is different than actually experiencing them in real life. But nevertheless, reading these concepts are going to put you in a massive competitive advantage. So read this book if you really want to improve your life, if you really want to take control of your personal finance, take control of your life, and get your financial success and financial freedom quicker and faster than you ever thought you could, then I really and highly recommend reading this book, Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. I mean, it just simplifies the whole thing. Everything that is complex in the investing world, you don't have to go through, you don't have to read the Millionaire Next Door, you don't have to read the 10s and 20 books about investment. Just read this book, take these steps and apply them. I haven't read them before, I just have faith in Tony Robbins. I've always had faith in Tony Robbins. I went to a seminar 3 months ago. It was one of the best experiences I've had. I mean, he's just amazing. I'm going to read through the book, give you the final steps. I've read a lot of his interviews, so I kind of know where he's going with it. I just have a vague knowledge of where he's going with it. I have a vague knowledge of, there's a chapter he talks about, anyways, I don't want to uncover all these things. So yeah, highly recommend reading this book, highly recommend buying the book. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be creating the series of the Tony Robbins Master the Game takeaways. I'm going to be creating more of this video and going through the whole book, chapter by chapter, giving you all the actionable steps, just like this, on this board. and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, for now, subscribe to this channel, like this video, share it if you find it really helpful, and comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you read the book. Tell me, actually, no, don't tell me anything if you read the book. Don't spoil it for me. But you know, share your thoughts. Share what what you've learned from this video. And for now, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next video of the series. Cheers.